Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Sakshurunmunitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Itinamine. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Sakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we saw there are two tasamulas actually described in this, and this is sloka number 3, and there is one more. These two are basically the first part 1 of the Sakti Tattva, in fact. So anyway, so we are not going to be really going to the going to into full meaning inside. I will just recite it once again. Parakyaya Sakter Aprudak Abhis Swe Mahimani Sthido Jivakyam Swam Ajit Abhihitam Tam Tripatikam Swatandrecha Saktim Sagala Visheye Prerana Paro Biharatyai Sunyaha Paramapurusho Ayam Vijayate. So this is where it actually comes into picture. Now there are two things actually described here: Sakti and Saktiman. Saktiman is the possessor of the Sakti, and Sakti is the Sakti, all power. So now, so Sakti is all his energies. Even after so much of Sakti's emanality actually coming from the Saktiman, who is Bhagavan, so he is unchanged. So because how much Sakti is there, infinity, and he is also infinitely powerful, infinitely awesome. So now opulent, all the 6 qualities that we really saw before. So if we take from all his qualities, and then the Saktis are coming from him, so infinity minus infinity, but he doesn't become 0 or anything, or not even diminish even a bit. It is still without any change. Okay, that is why we really saw that last week. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. So if we subtract from Purnam, so we more Purnam, then still he is standing as Purnam. Okay. So that is the thing. Now, okay, let us get into the Sakti Tattva now. So Sakti Tattva, which all together we can call that as Parasakti, Adi Sakti, Parasakti. People in this world are so misled that they are thinking that actually Adi Parasakti is in fact Parvati Devi or Durga Devi or something. They are completely wrong. If you see this Parasakti, she is having 3 aspects. One is Chit Sakti, that is a spiritual potency, which is basically also called Kshetranya Pati, and that is completely spiritual. That is Chit Sakti. Then Jiva Sakti is marginal potency, is also called Kshetranyas. So spiritual by nature, but because of the weakness, it is subjected to the contamination by Maya Sakti. So the third is Maya Sakti. Maya Sakti is actually material. It is Jada. So Chit Sakti is what? Is completely spiritual. That is Anmigam, spiritual, and Maya Sakti is completely Jada. So in between is Jiva Sakti, because why it is in between, why it is called marginal potency? Because even though Jiva by itself is actually a spiritual, but because of the weakness, he gets entangled in the Maya Sakti. That is why. So external potency, Maya Sakti is also called Pradhana. Okay, Pradhana. All are also called Prakriti. Okay, Prakriti is also the same thing. So now, if we see in a nutshell about Bhagavan and all the Saktis together as one entity, Bhagavan as one entity and Sakti as one entity, we see this sloka completely talking about who are they. Radha Purna Sakti and Krishna Purna Saktiman. Saktiman means one who possesses, right? One who possesses the Sakti. Radha Purna Sakti, Krishna Purna Saktiman, Dui Vastu Veda Nai Sastra Paramana. Srimati Radharani is the full power or embodiment of all the Saktis. In a nutshell, she is the one. And Lord Sri Krishna is the possessor of full power. The two are not different. This is where we have to be very careful. They are not too different as evidenced by the revealed scriptures. For Leela's sake, they appear as separated. But in reality, we can never separate them. How is that? This one example is the sun, right? Sun has inherently, it has all the powers, all the Shakti, all the energy. And that energy, what are those energy? That was heat and light. So now, can we separate its heat and light away from the sun? It is not possible. So it is part of it. So we cannot separate them. The same way, Bhagavan and his Shakti, Radharani, cannot be separated. But only for the pastime purpose, they are actually for the Leela purposes, they actually seem to be separate. But they are not separate. Okay? So this is very, very intricate. Shastra says that you cannot separate them. And now also if you see the Chit Shakti and Maya Shakti, remember there are three Shaktis that I was talking about, Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti and then Maya Shakti, okay. So now Jiva Shakti is in between, so we don't have a problem. So that is in between, subjected to the Maya. The Chit Shakti and Maya Shakti are completely opposite. Opposite in the sense perverted reflection. Like in the mirror, for example, right, what do we really see? We see what, when we see our face, we really see the thing as ulta. I mean, not completely ulta, but it is all reflected. So because of the nature of the reflection, we really see it differently. Our left arm becomes right arm, and the right arm becomes left arm, left eye becomes right eye, and right eye becomes left eye, and so on. But that is one kind of understanding. But also if we see another one, as I really put a tree, suppose Chit Shakti is spiritually a tree, real tree, right? And then its reflection is the Maya Shakti, which is the material world, all the Prakriti, including all the worlds, of course. Then Jiva Shakti is in between, that is marginal. Marginal because of the nature of the Jiva, who actually gets subjected to under the influence of the Maya Shakti. Okay? So Chit Shakti is real, other one is a reflection. Okay? Alright. So the Jiva Shakti is said to be the marginal because they have weakness, and so that it gets subjected to under the Maya Shakti. Leelas of Bhagavan going on the spiritual world only. Sometimes he comes down and performs the Leelas, but still they are all going on in the spiritual world. It is only a sliding window that gets open for the jivas to really witness, to really see that. But it is actually happening in the spiritual world. Okay? Because his actions are not bound by Maya. And by Maya cannot see his real qualities at all. See, for example, even when Krishna was here, Duryodhana also saw Krishna. She saw Krishna's body, but he did not see the spiritual form of Krishna. So he saw only a Mayic form because he is not allowed to see. He doesn't have a qualification to see the form of Krishna. Also, when Krishna was leaving to earth due to the arrow, remember there was a story, right? There is a hunter came, Jara, who is none other than the same, actually Vali, who was really killed by Lord Ram in his previous incarnation. So it is this hunter coming here because it is just actually that's a Mayic instance of what is supposed to be done. It's not the real people in Maya do not see the actual pastime in the Chit Jagat. So God never gets killed by just a small arrow at his foot. He is Bhagavan. He staged the play so that for the Mayic eyes, we see that he is actually taking care of the karmic reaction that he did as when he came as Lord Ram and then killed Vali, and now it's actually coming back. Just a play. so that's all the whole thing is. So people actually don't understand. So by Mayic mind, one can never understand the eternal leelas of the Lord. Okay. Now also we saw there are two kinds of jivas. Jivas, those who worship Bhagavan, they are called intelligent jivas. And also there are jivas who worship the Prakriti, that is Maya. Okay. Remember this Prakriti is different. That is, this is also called Pradhana. Okay. So most of the jivas worship Maya Prakriti, Durga, and all her like other forms. They are actually basically not intelligent at all. Because you are supposed to be getting away from the Maya, not getting into that and getting more entangled. No, it's not the right logic. So now also if you see, the scientists are also invariably, they are also entangled in worshipping Prakriti. How? All by science and all the study, experiments and everything, they are studying the nature, and nature is actually a manifestation from from Prakriti. So now also people go to temple and churches to deal with the material well-being only. They are said to be ignorant as they ask for material favor and heavens. Heavens, as mentioned in most of the religions, are not spiritual, by the way. You have to be very, very careful. No, heaven is different. The abode of the Lord is actually way different. Okay, so heavens are still material planes. So only intelligent people worship Bhagavan and or Parasakti, Radha. Okay, so that is different. Worship Bhagavan means Bhagavan and his Chit-Sakti, actually Parasakti, not the Prakriti, not the Maya Sakti. Parasakti always with Bhagavan. You cannot separate them. Okay, now those jivas who worship Bhagavan or Radha Krishna, they really do not ask for material favors. Material favors will come, but they are not hankering for it. They only want to serve the Lord, not ask for anything selfish. They are called pure Krishna Bhaktas. Only Radha Krishna worship can result in pure bhakti. All the others are self-motivated. Then Dasamula number 4 came. Here, this is the place where we were actually dealing with the Haladini Sakti, Samvit Sakti and the Sandhini Sakti. Okay, so the sloka is very simple. So Savai Haladinyascha Pranaya Vikrurter Halajanaratas Tada Samvit Sakti Pragaiti Rago Bavarasita Tada Sri Sandinya Kruda Visesa Tatsatta Madnichayo Rasam Bodo Magno Brajarasa Vilasi Vijayate. Okay, don't worry about too much. It's all probably gone over your head. That's not a problem. Now, these are the things it's talking about. It's talking about 3 kinds of vritti. What is vritti? Vritti means expression. How it gets expressed. Okay. So we saw that Chit Sakti is there, and then Jiva Sakti is there, and then the Para and the Pradhana Maya Sakti is also there. Now, if you see the Parasakti altogether, he's a Sakti altogether. She also reflects in these 3 kind of vrittis. Vrittis means expression. So Parasakti expresses herself in 3 vrittis. What is that? Haladini. Haladini is actually pleasure potency. That is pure Radharani in pure form. Pure form for what? For the Leela purposes with Bhagavan. That is what it is. Radharani is the Parasakti. But again, in that, she specifically is actually very unique in giving pleasure to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. That is Radharani. Only can actually give that. So also she then expands into Ashtasakis, 8 Sakis, and also they are all, again, so many Sakis are there. They are divided into 4 groups. Priya Sakis, Narma Sakis, Prana Sakis, and Parama Presta Sakis, like that. And also then Samvit. Samvit Sakti is basically Sambandha Bhava. Remember all the Jivatmas, and also also his gopis and everybody. So they all have Sambandha with the Bhagavan. Dasya Bhava. So that is the word, the Bhava of serving attitude. Then Sakya Bhava, friendship. Vatsalya, parental relationship, and then Madhurya. Madhurya is basically that's what gopis are there for. Then Sandhini Sakti. The Sandhini Sakti is a manifestation of everything in Brajadam, spiritual world. The abode, the Bhagavan's abode is in Braja. That is called Goloka Vrindavan, also called Gokulam. Gokulam also same thing. Goloka is also same thing. Okay. Now, this Sandhini Sakti is really the one who really becomes completely all, the manifests for the sake of pastimes and everything. So Braja with forests, Giri Govardhan, Leela Salis, Holy Land, there the water, etc., everything, and also the spiritual bodies of Krishna, Radha, Gopis, Gopas, cows, dasas, dasis, everybody, all the body and the places, place and thing, object, all the objects basically involved in the Leelas of Bhagavan is all coming from Sandhini Sakti. Okay? Then also there are traces of, Swarupa Sakti, Vrittis, traces of Vrittis in the material worlds. So what are they? Okay, if you see that the traces are there in the lowest form also, in the material world also it is there. How the traces are coming there? Kaladini Sakti comes as mundane pleasure. See, when that pleasure in the spiritual world is so divine, but when it comes to the material world, it becomes really, really, nasty. It's kind of nasty compared to how glorious that's in the spiritual abode. Mundane pleasure, selfish desires, and also man-woman relationships. All these things actually coming in the mundane pleasure, sensual pleasure. That is how Kaladini Sakti Vritti is reflecting into the material world. Then also the material knowledge. What? All the scientists and whatever that we are actually studying, all the science and geography, all these arts, this and everything, whatever that you really think of science, arts, everything, they are all traces of Samvit Vritti. So this material knowledge is really controlled by Saraswati. Which is Saraswati? Saraswati, not the Divya Saraswati. This is the Saraswati who is a consort of Lord Brahma. Okay, so that is Samvit Vritti. Then the third one is Sandhini Vritti. What is Sandhini Vritti? Sandhini Vritti is the one in the abode of Bhagavan. It was the one who was really supplying all the places for the Leelas and all the bodies and Gopis, Gopa, Radharani, Bhagavan. They are all some Sandhini only. Sandhini, they are all body, because Krishna also has body, Radharani also has body. So they are all coming from Sandhini Vritti. So the same way here also, material worlds and all the elements, Panchabhutas, and everything, whatever that you can think of, they are all traces of Sandhini Vritti only. Now coming to Paramatma, there are something about Paramatma also mentioned there. So Paramatma is actually a expansion of the Lord when she really comes into the material world. Paramatma is actually very, very special. Even though he is spiritual, his predominant place is to really take care of the jivas and the material world where the jivas actually live. So the Paramatma as such is completely spiritual. He is the creator of this world, because when Mahavishnu was actually creating all the universes from his pores, along with that also he becomes Paramatma and entering into every single atom. That is what we are talking about. So he is the creator of these worlds because he came from Mahavishnu. Then controller of the Kala. So he is the one who really manifests this Kala, time and space in the material world, and then he is the only controller. Okay. Now he is also the knower of all, and Ishvara of Maya. Maya, basically Prakriti, is under the control of Paramatma. Okay, this is very important. This is not, even though we really saw the thing as three independent ones, as Pradhana, as the third Sakti, in fact, he is the Ishvara, he is under the Paramatma form, in fact. One of the Vishnu's form, and she is the Ishvara of the Maya. And then also Ishvara of the Jivas. So now Ishvara of the Jivas, what exactly he is actually doing related to the Ishvara. These are the activities. He binds the Jivas in Maya, okay, not by folds, by karmic results. Depending on the Jiva's karmic results, he binds the Jivas in the Mayic worlds. Wherever that, he has to be doing activities, so he binds them. He also places them in positions, again, not just random, no, depending on the Jiva's karmic results, they are supposed to be. If they did Punya, they will be born in Punya, in better places. Otherwise, hellish places. Then he also liberates them. When the Jiva eventually becomes ready, right, actually Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, finally when he gets a Bhakti Yoga, and then he gets liberated, and he just liberates them. He really basically say there bye. That's it, because when you really go back to To Bhagavan, in the liberated case, Paramatma does not come with you. No, you are Jiva, a full-fledged, pure entity, which is the Vastu, and that is now as a servant. And you are actually serving to Bhagavan directly. There's no Paramatma coming there in the picture anymore. Now, when a Jiva is born in a body, he comes with the Jivas to reside in the heart. During the life, he gives the messages via dreams, because dreams are the messaging center, in fact. He finds a guru when the Jiva spiritually awakens. He digests our food. We think that magically things are happening. This enzyme is coming from nowhere, this, that, everything. Finally, the body of all the things are food is digested. No, he has the vital force. He is the one who digests, and also he maintains our health via the vital force. So these are Paramatma's functions. Okay. Then he also disperses the karmic results during the life, as we talked about that. When leaving the body, this is the Paramatma he shows through which gate one Jiva has to leave. Okay, he will go show the skull or something if he is a yogi, or maybe in some other place, maybe mouth or nose. Remember, when the Jivas get out from the body, these are the ones, depending on which, where the illumination came because of Paramatma, that is how it goes. And in fact, in the near-death experiences cases, NDEs, they say that they actually went through a tunnel or something, and there was a light there. They were going towards the light. That is the light that Paramatma is actually like a torch. He just glows that, and the tunnel is nothing but the nervous system that the Jivas are actually piercing through to really get out of the body. Now also, there was a talk about Brahman. People in the Mayavadis are really so stupid, you won't believe. They are ignorant. They are thinking Brahman is not having any Sakti. No qualities, nothing. No Sakti. That is not exactly true. Because there is nothing, no Vastu can exist without Sakti. It's not possible. That's not possible. Because from Brahman is indirectly involved in the creation. How without the Sakti, then the creation can actually happen? It's not possible. Okay? So there is no Vastu called Brahman without Sakti. It is simply an imagination by the Mayavadis that they say that it doesn't have any attribute at all, nothing, no quality. No, it has Sakti. So in fact, Brahman is beyond the limited conception of Mayavadis. Now, also towards the last, we really talked about how the contradicting qualities can exist with Krishna. This is very, very important. Krishna has most beautiful form, Rupa Madhuri. But he is also Arupa. He is also can be considered as he also has a formless form. Formless form. It's not a formless form, formless. Okay, most beautiful form also he has, at the same time contradicting, no form. He has Murti, deity form in one place, is one place, time and space. But at the same time he is there, omnipresent everywhere. He is active. At the same time he is not doing anything. He is unborn. But he is also son of Nanda Maharaja, spiritual in Goloka. That's how it's all set up. But he is unborn. But how can he be a son of Nanda Maharaja and Yashoda? Then he is actually a simple cow-herd boy. But he is worshipped by all the gods. And he has a human-like form. But at the same time, he is omnipresent everywhere. He possesses all the qualities, Sabhishesha. But at the same time, he is Nirvishesha, without any qualities also. Rasa Raja, he is a Rasa, the Rasa Leela Purushottama. He does all kinds of Leelas. But at the same time, because all the Leelas are understandable, but he is also inconceivable. We cannot understand Bhagavan at all. And he is limited to his bhaktas. For the bhaktas, he is limited. But he is limitless to others. And he is very far away. Very far away. He is in Goloka Vrindavan. At the same time, he is very near to his devotees. Very near. He thinks about, when devotee thinks about, Bhagavan comes right there. And also even he is afraid of playful anger by gopis or Yashoda. Yashoda binds Krishna, and Krishna weeps, crying. Tears come, crying, oh ma, don't beat me, don't beat me. But he is afraid here. As in one form. And then he is never afraid for anything nirvikara. He is never afraid because he is the Lord of everything. Look at how the contradicting qualities can exist, coexist at the same time with Krishna. That is his power. So now the conclusion. Radha Purna Sakti, Krishna Purna Saktiman, Dvi Vastu Vedanayi, Sastra Paramana. Srimati Radharani is the full power and Lord Sri Krishna is the possessor of full power. The two are not different as evidenced by the revealed scriptures. By the way, one supreme secret is that worshipping and taking shelter under Radharani is even superior than going directly to worship Krishna. Whereas the non-intelligent jivas who really worship Pradhana or Prakriti or Durga or the Mayu forms, they are less intelligent. At the same time, these bhaktas who are worshipping Radharani, who is Adi Parasakti, his bhakti will be very quick. And in fact, she is more merciful than even Bhagavan. So with that, I would like to conclude by a little bhajan by Yashika.
Kripa karo o Radhe o Radhe कृपा करो राधे कृपा करो राधे गोलोक सुंदरी कृष्ण मनोहरी कोमल कांचन राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे गोलोक सुंदरी कृष्ण मनोहरी कोमल कांचन राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे वृषभानुनन्दिनी भुवनेश्वरी ब्रजवर देवी राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे वृषभानुनन्दिनी भुवनेश्वरी ब्रजवर देवी राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे गोलोक सुंदरी कृष्ण मनोहरी कोमल कांचन राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे श्री हरि मोहिनी बरसानवासिनी वृंदावन जन राधे कृपा करो ओ राधे। श्री हरि मोहिनी बरसाने वासिनी वृंदावन जन राधे। कृपा करो ओ राधे। कृपा करो ओ राधे। गोलोक सुंदरी कृष्ण मनोहरी कोमल कांचन राधे। कृपा करो ओ राधे। कृपा करो ओ राधे। कृपा करो ओ राधे।
And next week we will be doing same thing, Prameya Shakti Tattva part 2. Okay, and see you all next Saturday. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanja kalpatarcheta kripa sindhu pevacha paritanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.